G1 Climax 32, day 11, 12, and 13 review coming up for you. We're the almighty SOS Wrestling Network. Be sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. Price of subscription is free $99. Of course, I am the puroresu fly god, Stardust Shiyaku, Blunt Idol, El Toro Negro, all of the elk, here to bring you this triple shot of New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 32 action. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this right here, right now. So, man, this G1 has been hit or miss, in my opinion. Some things are very easy to get through. Other things, not so much. So this is maybe, in a lot of people's opinion, maybe even my opinion, one of the lower G1s I have covered. And that's not, hey, that is what it is, man. I still love G1 Climax as everybody else does, but I just got to keep it a buck. Might be one of the lesser ones. Hopefully they can turn this stuff around towards the end. I think that'd be great. We got Tom Mahler on English commentary tonight. So, first match on this card. Block D action. We had Juice Robinson taking on Yujiro Takahashi right here. We got Yujiro hitting Juice with his cane, getting the victory, the big Juice, getting the win with the big Juice around 11 minutes, 36 seconds. This match is pretty average if you ask me. This is more Bullet Club / House with Torture shenanigans. Could have been better, could have been worse, but like I said, Big Juice gets the win for Yujiro Takahashi here, and I think there are a lot of questionable booking decisions that's going along the whole landscape of the G1 to where you're like, man, it's not just an upset. I mean, upsets are fine, but it's not just an upset. This is bad booking. I think him beating Juice at this point is kind of low-key bad booking. I love Yujiro Takahashi, but I just got to call a spade a spade. Moving on up the card, we got Block B action. We have Chase Owens taking on Taichi. Taichi getting a victory of Black Mephisto around 13 minutes and 25 seconds right here. This is a really solid match. Chase Owens has been a really, really solid guy here in the G1 Climax. He's been pretty consistent through and through, so that's something refreshing right here. It's not like he's going above and beyond. Not saying he's not working hard. I don't want to make it sound like that, but he's just been a consistent guy here, and that's really good. So moving on up the card, we have Aaron Henare taking on and taking the L to Tetsuya Naito via Destino around 17 minutes and 31 seconds. This is probably, to this point, the best match so far on this night. It really wasn't anything to write home about, but still on this night, to this point, it's the best match. That's literally all you can want right here. Moving on to the penultimate semi-main events of this show, we had Block A action. Jeff Cobb sitting on 4 points. Jonah sitting on 2 points, but these guys have wrestled before. I hadn't seen any of these guys' matches, so I don't know really to have any history to go off of right here. But we get Jonah getting the victory with the big splash off the top rope around 14 minutes and 50 seconds right here. This was a fucking amazing match right here. This was a really fun kaiju battle that we had between these two gentlemen, these two kaijus, if you will. And Jonah picking up the big victory right here. So his only loss here continuous in the G1 has been by countout. So, and hasn't been made to submit, haven't been pinned. So shout out to Jonah right there. Moving on to the main event of the show, we had Evil and Hiroshi Tanahashi taking each other on in the main event. Interestingly enough, these guys were 3-3 against each other. Those matches came at the G1 New Japan, not G1, but the New Japan Cup 2017. Wrestling Toyonoki in 2017, G1 28, G1 29, G1 30, and of course G1 31 right here. Tanahashi got the victory over Evil with the pinning combination around 19 minutes and 1 second. First half of this match I thought was really solid. Then we started to get into more of the House of Torture shenanigans right here. That kind of bogged it down a little bit. I thought night 11 was pretty average. Jonah and Cobb and Aaron. Jonah and Cobb was really good. Henare and Naito was really good. I think everything else was either not good but average, or not good or to average. So night 11 was okay. Like I said, an average show as far as G1 goes, which is going to move us into night 12 coming up here. We got a couple of block matches, of course. And on night 12, we start off with a first time ever meeting in a D block between El Phantasmo and Yoshihashi right here. Yoshihashi got the victory around 15 minutes and 47 seconds via Karma. This is a really good match. Yoshihashi continues to be one of the MVPs of the G1 Climax 32, if not the major MVP or not the main MVP. So shout out to, I forgot his Yoshihashi. I forgot his name, lost my train of thought. But shout out to Yoshihashi. Actually, shout out to El Phantasmo as well. Both these guys have been having really good matches. Yoshi-Hashi's been putting on bangers, man. Shout out to him. Next match we have up the card for Block A action. We have Lance Archer taking on and defeating Toru Yano around 9 minutes and 14 seconds. This is a really entertaining comedy match right here. They had the spots that you would expect from former Toru Yano match. You had Lance Archer playing the big bully heel guy here. I thought this was a really fun match, and it kept it under 10 minutes, so that made it even better. He had his own roll of tape here too, so I mean, you can't be mad at that. Next match we had coming up on the card, we had Hiroki Goto, taking on Zack Sabre Jr. Both of these guys at this point are sitting on 4 points equally. Their match history is Zack Sabre Jr. holding a 3-2 edge. Their bouts came in the G1 27, Sakura Genesis 2017, G1 28, and the G1 30 right here. We get Zack Sabre Jr. getting a victory via the armbar around 18 minutes and 44 seconds. This felt like a war, but it didn't really feel like it ever went too long. Nice match length. Great match right here. This is another solid match in this tournament. Actually, one of the better matches in this tournament. So, moving on to the penultimate match of the show, we have the Great Okan taking on and taking the L to the reigning, defending IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Jay White right here. This was a hell of a contest. Jay White got the victory around 18 minutes and 14 seconds. This is one of my favorite Great Okan matches ever, if not my favorite Great Okan match ever. So, another great match for Jay White in the book, man. I love the chemistry that these guys had. They started off kind of slow, but then it turned into something totally different. So I love that. Match was fucking banger. One of the top matches of this tournament to this point. Then in the main event, we have Shingo Takagi taking on and defeating Will Ospreay. 21 minutes, 55 seconds right here. This is no hyperbole, probably match one or 1A of the tournament. They went balls to the wall here. These guys, they're no stranger to each other. Y'all already know the history between these men. He beat him with the Last of the Dragon. Yeah, this was a fucking banger, and this is what G1 Climax is about to me. I love this match a whole lot. I love actually the last two matches here. So I thought night 12 was fucking good. This is what a G1 Climax is supposed to be. This is what we've been waiting for right here. This is easily the best night of the tournament, if you ask me. You had a really fun Yano match. Fucking amazing match between Jay White and Great Okan, and the main event between Will Ospreay and Shingo Takagi. What more can you ask for? Solid fucking show right here. So we're going to go ahead and move on to night 13. And like I was saying, night 13 of the G1 Climax 32, the first G1 Climax action we have of the night. We had Block C action. Evil taking on and defeating Aaron Henare by pinfall victory via Everything is Evil. Around 10 minutes and 36 seconds. This is textbook House of Torture stuff. This wasn't the most egregious example of that style of match we've seen in this G1, but it really has nothing that I would really recommend here. And Henare really wasn't given much space to leave or time to leave his mark in between the usual hill spots. So Evil gets 2 points right here. Moving on up the card, we got Tom Lawlor defeating Bad Luck Fale with a nasty knee on the brain around 11 minutes and 24 seconds right here. Just simple stuff. This is basically David versus Goliath. It worked well here. Tom Lawlor's plan was clear. To his credit, Fale worked with more energy than he had any other point in this tournament, if you ask me. The ceiling on a Fale match in 2022 is maybe shorter than it maybe has been in the past years, but this was a really passable match. So Tom Lawlor gets the victory, like I said, via the nasty knee on the brain. Moving on up the card to the Block D match for the G1 Climax. We had Bullet Club versus Bullet Club. Juice Robinson versus El Phantasmo right here. So we got Juice Robinson defeating El Phantasmo via disqualification around 16 minutes and 23 seconds right here. I expect this match to be viewed with a little controversy by New Japan purists. This is a US indie style comedy match for more of half of its duration, and by that standard, not even really a bad one. But as commentary noted, this isn't part of standard G1 Climax delivery. The plunder heavy second half felt a bit more serious, but also out of step with the usual G1 style. If nothing else, in my opinion, the disqualification felt like a fitting end to something that was pretty bizarre, but I enjoyed it. So then we have the penultimate match on the show, Tomohiro Ishii taking on and taking to the L to Chase Owens after multiple C triggers, after the package power driver right here. This is, you can really have a more different contrast from one previous G1 Climax match to another one. This is meat and potatoes G1, with Owens showing he was able to hang with the tournament's gatekeeper in both of intensity and fluid exchanges and reversals right here. So one of the better matches on the show, if maybe, maybe in some people's opinion, it might be the best match on the show. So then we have the main event right here. Jonah taking on and defeating Kazuchika Okada via the torpedo splash, around 21 minutes and 53 seconds. There were audible roars from the crowd after the pinfall here. So with Block A so full of giants, the classic foreigner booking of Jonah in the G1 didn't become apparent until recently. When it did, though, Jonah had the perfect four waiting for Okada, both men playing to their strengths clearly and effectively. The crowd recognized the weapons in Jonah's arsenal, established in earlier matches, and realized that the powerbomb spelled doom for the Rainmaker and made the inevitable finish more electric, if you ask me. The shock of someone who never stepped foot in a Japanese New Japan ring until this tournament in defeating Okada was palpable, despite the ostensible limitations from the crowd noise. So, my final thoughts here, though starting poorly and showcasing some of the tournament's weaker elements, if you ask me, the final two matches had me feeling upbeat about this card. Ishii and Owens' traditional G1 playbook was thoroughly enjoyable, and seeing the effective short-term booking of Jonah fall into place so effectively was anything less than it was a treat. It's taken a while for due to the 4-block format, but this G1 stories are finally coming into clear focus, if you ask me. So we will be out of action until Tuesday. We'll have more G1 Climax action on Tuesday. Let me see what the matches we're going to get on Tuesday. Since I'm done, we're just talking about the G1. We might as well see what we got coming up here. The match lineup, we got a Tuesday and Wednesday shot. The block action, we got Yujiro Takahashi taking on Yoshihashi. We got Sanada taking on Chase Owens. In the Block B action, Block B, we also have Tama Tonga taking on Taichi. We have the aforementioned Jonah taking on Lance Archer. And in Tuesday's main event in C Block action, we have Tetsuya Naito taking on Kenta. So on Wednesday's show in Hiroshima, both of these shows are both taking place in Hiroshima. We have David Finlay versus El Phantasmo in D Block action. Great-O-Khan versus Tama Tonga in B Block. C Block sees the Zack Sabre Jr. of Suzuki Gun versus the House of Torturous Evil. Tom Lawler's taking on Kazuchika Okada in Block A action. And in the main event, Hiroshi Tanahashi's taking on Hiroki Goto. So that was our coverage of Night 11, Night 12, Night 13, previewing Night 14 and 15's matches. So we are the almighty SOS Wrestling Network. Please be sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The price of subscription is, of course, free $99. That will never change. So I'm the Puroresu Fly God. I am Stardust Yaku. I am Blunt to Naito. I am signing off. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Take care.